Rejoins us, I should say, cookbook author, wandering palate, health coach, blogger. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right, the expression is a poor workman blames his tools. Can a poor chef blame their tools?
I think so. I think there's quite a few tools that you absolutely need to have in your kitchen in order to make tasty recipes and make your life so much easier when you're cooking in the kitchen.
Okay, walk us through them. Go ahead.
All right, well, I'm going to start with some of my favorite kitchen appliances. And so the very first thing that I use every single day is my Vitamix Blender. I use it to make my bulletproof coffee in the morning. I use it to make dressing, sauces. You can make soups in it. You can make tahini sausage is one of my favorite recipes on my blog right now as well. And the other one that I use probably every day as well is my Cuisinart food processor. And I use this to make a chimichurri sauce. I can use it to help chop and prep, especially like if I'm going to be using fresh herbs on things. Toss them in here, chop them up, good to go. So those are probably my two go-to. And then I would say my third favorite is my Insta Pot. There's a lot of recipes on my blog for that. And that's one of those things when you don't feel like cooking, you can put everything in your Insta Pot, cooks it for you, and you're good to go. So those are probably the top three investments that I definitely recommend for every kitchen. And I want to talk a little bit about prep tools as well. So, if you don't have the food processor and you need to cut things by hand, investing in a good set of knives is key. And it could be a little bit expensive in the beginning, but they're going to last you forever. And there's this sharpener that's about $25 on Amazon that will keep your knives sharp, not dull. That the number one kitchen injury comes from dull knives. So it's really important to have a sharp set of knives so that you don't hurt yourself and you can cut your food easily. And some of the other tools that I use on a daily basis is my lemon squeezer. So I use citrus on everything. And these are great because you can just toss your lemons in here, squeeze them, catches all the seeds, you get all the juice, saves your wrists and hands from a lot of extra effort when you've got this thing. And cutting boards. So a couple of years ago, especially when I was sick with Lyme disease, I did away with all plastic in my kitchen. So I use glass to store my food, and I use bamboo cutting boards. So bamboo is really great because it's eco-friendly, it's antimicrobial, it's super easy to clean, holds up a little bit better than wood as well. And then you don't have that plastic that you're cutting on, and who knows how much of that plastic is getting on your food, especially when you have sharp knives, right?
Exactly. Well, I had we had a plastic cutting board once, and I was like, why is there Parmesan cheese on the counter? And no, it was just cutting board that was on the counter. That's when we made the switch to wood as well. Sustainable wood. Those
scare me. They scare me. So yeah, definitely stick with wood, or bamboo is even better. And another must-have is a meat thermometer. So I like this digital one. It gives you a reading extremely quickly, so you can know when your fish is going to be done, when your meat is going to be done, so that you're not overcooking or undercooking your food. And speaking of cooking, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite cooking tools as well. So as far as cookware goes, I like to use cast iron for most everything. So a couple different ones. I have an enamel covered cast iron. That's a Lakehurst set. And this thing, I literally have had this for like 12 years. You can see it's a little beat up, but it is good as new. Like, it cooks food perfectly. So that's great because it'll help your food not stick so much to the cast iron. And then you can also just go with a traditional cast iron pan. I think this was about $40 on Amazon, and I've had this one for about 10 years as well. And as long as you keep them seasoned and keep them in good condition, your food doesn't stick, it cooks it perfectly. And so if you do want to go with a non-stick pan, I definitely recommend not using Teflon. Teflon tends to chip. We all know it's a little toxic for our health. So if you want to go with a non-stick, I highly recommend using a stainless steel frying pan, or there's some new ceramic ones as well that tend to be pretty good, but they do start to chip. So you got to be really careful with them. And if you do go the ceramic route, I definitely recommend using silicone cooking utensils. So again, plastic melts, right? You don't want all that melted plastic in your food. The silicone ones are great because they're really nice and flexible. They withstand high heat. So I use a silicone spatula, silicone tongs, and those are great. They're not going to scratch your cookware, last forever as well. And last but not least, one of my absolute favorite pieces of cookware that I invested in is my Lakehurst Dutch oven. And again, this is another thing I've had probably for like 10 years as well. And it's great for roasting a chicken. You can put a whole chicken in there and roast it. You can do carnitas, roasted meats. You can even use it on your stovetop and make mashed potatoes or stews, whatever you want to do. So it's very versatile. It can go in the oven, go on the stovetop, and it makes your life so easy. So I would say this is probably my top 10, 15 tools that I use on a daily basis that I think every kitchen should have. And these things will make your life so much easier, and you'll actually enjoy prepping your food with these.
Well, those are great, all great examples. I think you kind of develop a relationship with some of these kitchen tools. I know firefighter Tim is a frequent kitchen guest, and his cast iron I'm surprised he hasn't named them at this point. But he uses them. He's very comfortable with them. Same with the cruciate. I'd like to circle back quickly with the appliances. You said you use them nearly every day. Do they live on your countertop then, or do they?
They do. Yep. So I don't know if you can see back there. There's a green stand mixer. That's probably my last favorite tool. So they live back there in the corner and have them readily available. So use them every day.
Got to pull them out, right? If you bought it, you might as well use it. Sometimes
might as well keep it on your counter and use it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, quickly, is there one kitchen tool or gadget that you see people have and use and it just makes you roll your eyes like, why did you even buy that?
There's definitely some gimmicky ones out there. I'm trying to think. I think maybe like an egg poacher is like kind of silly. Like I tried using one before and it totally didn't work at all. And I was like, this is a waste of money. I was kind of upset with that. And then, I mean, sometimes like a mandolin, I've gone through a lot of mandolins and I just find them super frustrating. I think if you have like a really nice sharp knife, you can get a pretty good slice of your food. So those kind of freak me out. I always feel like I'm going to cut my fingers off with those too.
Exactly. Safe kitchen is the best kitchen. Great tools, great advice, great tips. Where can we find your book?
You can find my book on my website. It's thetrailtohealth.com, and it's also available on Amazon.
We'll put the link on indystyle.tv. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you so much.